Guess what I got?
Old age.
Well, besides that, I have arthritis. I have arthritis in my left wrist, forearm, hand, my left hip. My whole left side is all screwed up
Ooh,
due to being active all this for all these years with martial arts and track and field and falling down and getting up. But good thing is overall I'm in good health. The only thing is my cholesterol is a little off. And he told me that I have to stay off the red meat and reduce my salt intake, which is kind of hard because I love beef jerky and I eat steak a lot.
you can have
But
fish steak, like swordfish or something. Mm.
yeah, he says that more intake of fish and chicken, turkey when that comes around the holiday season.
That's a
He
win.
gave me yes, a win. I mean, he told me what I need to take for the bone, like D3, vitamin D3.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know you have arthritis, but you're 12 years younger than me. You should not be having arthritis at that age.
No,
And
for me,
majority of,
you're right. It's my. I know what you're going to say is about my weight. For me, it's
well, not just your weight, it's just because also you're very sedentary. You sit down a lot. You don't really work. You don't work out.
no, no. I don't work out anymore. I do sit down. Like it's literally my day job. It's just sitting down all
Mm.
day. That combined with probably whatever injuries I had in the past. Hey, that one time I fell out of a plane. We we went skydiving. Remember?
Oh, I was going to say,
I landed on my butt.
well, we all did. We had to.
No, but
It
I
was more of a
landed.
slide. It
I
was
had
more like a slide.
true, but you remember mine hit the hardest.
Well, I don't know. I don't remember because I was the last one to jump out of the plane.
Wait, you were no, I was the last one to jump off the plane.
No,
Hmm.
no.
Yeah, because
Well,
you
maybe
ran
I
up
don't
to
know.
me and you were like, "Well, bro, you left the trench."
Oh, maybe I didn't. So it was so long ago. It was for Dad's birthday too. I forgot to remember that.
Was it Dad's birthday? I thought it was yours. We talked Dad into it.
I thought it was his birthday.
No, Dad's like the last thing Dad ever wanted to do. I thought it was for your birthday, and then I said I'll go, and then we talked Dad into it because like a night we heard on the radio on the way there, a 90-year-old woman had just done it, and we had peer
Oh,
pressured him.
okay. Maybe it was my birthday then.
He was like, "It's the first and last time I'll ever do this."
Well, talking about going back to your weight and how old you are in the sense of you were born in the one of the best decades, the 80s,
80s.
where we have all these great and not so great movies.
True, true, true.
Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Predator, Rocky 3, Rocky 4, First Blood.
It was a good
Great.
time for the action films.
It was a lot of great, some dramatic roles. Popeye
Hmm.
came out. I think Annie did. That's one of like two musicals I liked growing up.
You know, I never
But
saw Annie. I saw Popeye. I never saw Annie.
it's okay. I mean, it's cute. It has it has some
Yeah,
good moments there. Carol Burnett, awesome. But they also have some cheesy movies. Oh,
absolutely.
Conan. I think Conan was in the 80s.
Speaking of Conan,
Yeah, well, true. Conan and Conan the Barbarian.
wait, was that not the same thing?
I mean, the
Conan the
Destroyer.
Conqueror? Oh, was it? Oh,
The
it was the
Destroyer.
Destroyer. Yeah, because there was supposed to be like the Conqueror, but then they never did that one.
Right. They
Right.
never, well, they did it because of how bad the second movie did.
Second movie was pretty bad from what I remember.
But yes, segue into multiple things. When you were born, your weight issue, our love for animals.
How does
Yes.
my weight play into this?
Easily. You can use the physique of the Beastmaster as a goal to hit because Mark Singer, the Beastmaster, Dar, was freaking shredded.
I will
I
give him that.
forgot.
He was extremely shredded in that movie. Even John Amos,
Oh, that's the like
Seth.
okay, that's like the second go-to goal, I guess, if you want to, because he wasn't ripped, he was just hefty.
True.
Whatever, okay, let's say this. Not to be cruel, but to be true. Any of those two is better what you have right now.
Fair enough. I'll give you this. Yes.
And it'll help you with your arthritic in your back and your mobility.
Okay, so yes, if we're talking about physiques and all that, yes, they definitely outdo me in this movie.
Even those the ones with the freaking claws and spikes, the controlled ones.
The Berserkers? Oh no, wait, they were called the Death Guards. Yes.
Use those physiques as as a goal or
Absolutely.
inspiration, which came out the same year you were born.
No, it didn't.
Oh, came out 2 years you were born. Excuse me.
You
I
make me
apologies.
older.
I'm sorry. It was 2 years before you were born. Excuse moi. But anyway, yes, we're talking about the Beastmaster, which is currently streaming on Amazon Prime with a Rotten Tomatoes score of 46% by the critics and 54% by the audience. Now, granted, 46% by the critics is only 13 reviews.
That's a
And
pretty
with the
low
audience is
mark for reviews.
right, and 25,000 plus for the audience. Does it hold up? Is it still entertaining? Is it worth the watch? Let's find out. Welcome back to Tales of Two Bros. I am Angel,
I'm Adan.
where we give you a review at least once a week.
Spoilers?
New year, new season. So I wanted to do, for those who are new or returning to our podcast, that our original intent was to look back at movies that we grew up on. A lot of the movies were, for you, influential for what I liked.
Well, a lot of the things that you liked, as you evidently made it so clear that our age was a big gap in our lives. Whatever you liked, a lot of times bled over to me growing up. So a lot of things influenced me in some ways. Granted, there was, where we splintered apart in some areas, but yeah, I would always stumble into your VHS collections and find things that you had collected over the years, and I will watch those.
Yes, you were sneak when I was in college. Check my movies.
Yes.
Anyway, let's get into the credits and details of the movie in the sense of it is written by, and here I go again with my mispronunciations, Don Coscarelli. He also directed the movie. Paul Peppermint, and based off the novel, The Beastmaster, Andre Norton was the writer. Now, Don Coscarelli, he also directed, which I was totally surprised to find out, that he directed Bubba Hotep.
Really?
Actually, he was a writer. He was a writer for that. Excuse me. He was a writer for Phantasm. Did you watch that movie? Because I know you like horror.
Actually, both of them. So Phantasm, I think I watched the original. I know for a fact I watched Phantasm 2. So I am familiar with the Phantasm franchise. It's been around for a hot minute. Bubba Hotep, that was
your boy, Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, it's a newer one. And funny enough, I love Bubba Hotep. It's a dark comedy kind of situation, overlooked by a lot of people, funny enough. And
he also wrote Phantasm Ravager and John Dies at the End.
Yeah, I believe I've seen that one. It's like not a might be a sci-fi. John Dies at the End. Hold on, I'll tell you right now. Yep, I did see John Dies at the End, and that one has some actors that you would recognize too. Clancy Brown, Paul Giamatti,
wow.
Doug Jones. Oh no, Doug Jones, do you recognize? I don't know.
Doug Jones, a black guy?
No, white guy.
Oh,
it just happened to be.
No, I think I'm Doug E. Jones. Okay, never mind.
Timmy Wong. It's a unique film, kind of sci-fi, not noir. Deals with time travel, if I remember correctly, and so it gets weird.
Okay. Now he also wrote Beastmaster 2 and 3. So yes, the Beastmaster. This movie spewed out a couple sequels and a television show.
I remember watching the show actually.
Yes, it wasn't with Mark Singer. It was another actor. I remember that, but it spewed out 2 sequels, which it should not have. Oh my God, it should not.
I don't remember Beastmaster 3, but I remember Beastmaster 2, where he was like he
travels in time.
Was it time or another world? Because technically, I think it was another world. It was our world. He travels to our world.
Well, the thing is like his brother, like they're both brothers and they have the same marking on the hand. I was like, that makes no sense. But anyway, we're jumping across here. Now, starring, you have here Mark Singer.
Mm-hmm.
You have the beautiful, holy shit, was she gorgeous, Tanya Roberts playing Kiri.
Mm-hmm.
Rip Torn, which you know him from Dodgeball and the Larry Sanders Show. He was a well-known actor, but he was a great villain here playing Max.
He was also RoboCop 3, Ghostbusters 2.
Ghostbusters 2?
Yeah, wasn't he the judge in Ghostbusters 2?
Oh, yes. John Amos, like you said, Seth. He's from Good Times, Die Hard 2, Coming to America, and the list goes on and on and on. You also have Billy Jane. Did you recognize him? He was the young Dar.
Oh, I thought his face was familiar.
He did a lot of movies like teenage films or rom-coms in a way. He was in Cujo, which is another 80s film. Just One of the Boys, another 80s film, which was he was hysterical. The Burbs, another 80s film with Tom Hanks
A lot
and
of
other
TV
series.
shows
A
and
lot of TV
voiceovers.
shows. Do you know who Janet Jones is?
I don't recognize her. Like I
She's the wife of Wayne Gretzky,
okay.
and she was also in the movie American Anthem.
But that's funny because she's like one of the witch women. So
Yes,
you can never recognize her unless you
correct.
are that good at recognizing people by their body. You'll never recognize
Well,
her.
you can. Her body was freaking smoking back in the day. Oh my God. I remember her in American Anthem, and I was like, holy crap. So you have like hot bodies, you have beautiful women here, you have ripped, well, one ripped guy, and you have a boy who was shirtless. Oh boy. So those are the main characters, the main actors.
Mhm.
What did you think about watching this?
Nostalgia carried me through a lot, but I mean, there's highlights and downsides to it. I should have stayed around for the credits because I was wondering, like, please tell me they didn't hurt any animals during the production on this.
The white dog,
No.
he was not killed.
Oh, thank
No
God.
animals, no animals were killed.
Because
Yes, I thought the same thing because the arrow, how it got into him and how it reacted,
he
and
looked like he was breathing when you put him down.
well, that's what it says.
Yeah,
Like you can see him like breathing, you can see the mouth move. But
that
they
dog was
said
trained
that,
so well.
well, no, it wasn't that it was trained. That they said they may have gave him like a tranquilizer or something like that
Oh, that answers that.
to make him like sleep.
Yeah,
Because I know when he carried him to his father, not his biological, but his I
yeah,
guess
adoptive
father, if
father.
you will. Yeah, I was like, holy crap! Especially when it looks like he gets hit
Mm-hmm.
and how it reacted. But in all honesty, it would not, because that's where the lungs are. Blood would have been in there. It would not be able to move
Yeah, no.
like that. But yes, I thought the same thing. I went right onto Google right away to see if
Well, even the
any
scene like where you see like Kodo getting dragged underneath the mud.
quicksand.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a lot of stuff that I'm like, that seems rough for animals to kind of put them through.
That one definitely, yes.
And did they paint
But
the tiger?
oh yeah.
Because I'm like, I looked at it, I'm like, multiple times, I'm like, that's a tiger. Why is it black?
Well, it's just a different world than ours, right?
Well, but then like I remembered like nostalgia kicking in. I remember like Beastmaster 2. He just looked like a regular tiger.
Yes.
They didn't paint
It's a
him.
different one. Right. It's a different one. The premise is we've seen this before where a premonition has come.
Mm-hmm.
The one that's, I guess, doomed makes the premonition a reality.
So that was one of the other things I was going to say. I'm calling it right now. I was watching it and going, there's easily a Star Wars reference. My brother's going into this. He's going to go into Star Wars from the get go with this one.
Well, not just that. I mean, yes, but not just that. Well, definitely yes. Okay, I'll go into it right now. I'll do it right now.
Knock it out of the water.
He is hooking up with his cousin.
Yes. Even when he finds out.
Yes, he's hooking up with a cousin, like Luke and Leia kissed, where they're brother and sister. So there's relation there. There's some incest there, but deeper in this aspect because he doesn't stop. But let's be honest, freaking damn hot. I'll probably do the same thing, but I wouldn't. I would not. But well, in the Star Wars, there's one who would bring balance to the Force, right? That was Anakin, or you could say it was Luke into it, not Leia, but Luke.
But an unborn child would be change the destiny of a kingdom
Correct.
or of the world.
Right.
And
But if
well, I mean, is that not the same? Like they took him from the mother's womb, put him in that of a calf, in a cow, and which weird enough
totally
as that was.
that. Totally forgot about that.
Yes, and
But
then
cool at the same. It was cool at the same time. I thought I was like, wow, that's pretty original.
yeah, no, it works. Which I not always, but when I watched it, I was like, that's weird. When they branded the leather and then they branded the baby's hand, and I'm like, that brand is bigger than the baby's hand, and then they branded the baby is like perfect size.
And I'm thinking, okay, if you're gonna kill the baby, why bother branding the leather?
Oh, I mean, branding the baby.
No, I can understand that. I can understand branding the baby because it's like symbolic and to have that connection for the death, what have you. But it's like when someone's who's about to die on a death penalty, before they put the needle in, they put the alcohol swab on the arm.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, but why?
Yeah.
It's not needed, right? So why brand the leather if you're going to go right into branding? You're going to kill the baby anyway, so it's not like it's like
I thought it was more just to see if it was hot enough.
Maybe, I mean, wasn't it red?
It
Wasn't
looked red
the
hot. Yeah, I'm not a brander. I don't know. I don't know the techniques. But
right?
yeah, so basically prophesies a child to change the destiny of a kingdom and whatnot who will have powers and abilities beyond those of others. Not in the prophecy, but develops a relationship with a known relative of his. Yeah, it's pretty much Star Wars right there.
Right, and also the collection of heroes, because again, this is to me when I saw this, it reminded me of a combination of Star Wars, The Seven Samurai, Lord of the Rings, but in different factor. In a sense, in those other films is humans. Here is a collection of beings.
Yeah.
You have Dar, you have Kiri, you have the younger brother, soon to be king. You have Seth, John Amos. Then you have also Kodo and Podo,
Yep.
and then you have, like I said, the eagle.
Which we can never pronounce the name. He just like Sharok or Karok or like yeah, blow out your
Yeah,
microphone right there.
yeah. Well, that's you know what I when you were born, something like that. I mean, I was such a geek on this film. I would do that for some reason. I thought it was just so cool. It was just different, cool. I mean, I used to watch this a lot on HBO when it was just HBO Cinemax and Prism back in South Jersey. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It doesn't exist anymore. In the Philadelphia tri-state area, Prism was a very popular cable network.
Talking about that, like it even I growing up also saw like I wanted to have ferrets growing up. Mom and
Oh, me
dad
too.
didn't
I,
because they
I
smell.
still want to get Ferris because of this movie. I've been trying to get Ferris for a long time, and now they're so damn expensive
Mm-hmm.
because before it was like 125, 150. I was with you one time looking at ferrets at one of our flea markets in Florida.
No, it was the.
And
I remember there was a pet store in the mall we walked into, and both of us were like,
right,
"Man, it'd be nice to get some ferrets. Like they're very clean
right.
animals. They just like defecate in the corner, and we could just pick it right up, and like we could talk
And
mom and dad into this."
they sleep so much too.
Yes, very soft animals.
And it's so cute. But watching this again for me, and it's been such a long time, it felt like a made for TV movie in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
how the credits were and introduction of the king to be. But again, of course, later on, it's not made for TV because there's nudity and the violence there. The violence is okay, but
The nudity wasn't even that much, except for like maybe 2, 3 scenes. And this was back before they had the whole PG-13 system. It was just
right, it was just
PG.
PG. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it was, of course, a little dated, I still enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. It brought me back, like you said, for nostalgia in the sense of how the connection with him and the animals, which was awesome, I thought. But since I haven't seen it in a while, I did see some faux pas or some things like that doesn't make sense.
True. No,
Or
they do
like
have some editing mistakes there.
now, before we go into that, what do you have a favorite moment?
Kind of like the moment at the end with the bird people when they come into the rescue there. I just thought that was cool. It always stuck with me when I was a kid. That
Mm-hmm.
was entertaining. When he first meets Kodo and Podo, for some reason I always liked that. Like they steal his stuff. The smallest of creatures are the ones that rescue him, which was also the scene that, like I mentioned before, had me concerned for the welfare of the animals in the movie. Those were the two best scenes for me. What about for you?
Good scenes. I mean, there's good moments. I mean, it was a beautiful shot of him running with the tiger
Yes.
on the water. I thought that was like just breathtaking. Just that simple thing, man and beast running together. I just thought it was really cool. Uh, but I like the scene with the witch coming in and taking the baby.
Oh yeah. No.
I thought it was really cool because no, the thing is she has this gel and she puts it onto their necks and they can't
It
move
gives
or
them like
speak.
sleep paralysis. Like what they're awake but they can't move or they can't scream. Yeah.
Right, and then she's doing it, making a chant, and the baby disappears and for one, and then goes into the cow. I thought
Hmm.
that was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty original in many facets. I love the weapon the adoptive father had that reminded me of Kroll.
Yes. And you know what? I like that weapon too, but it felt like it was not necessary. Like because like when you first see that weapon the father had, he used it to
Mhm.
take out a witch.
Right.
And then he
Oh,
flaunts
talk
it
about
to
that.
train his son. What are we talking
Uh,
about? Am I getting into the bad stuff now?
no. We're going Star Wars again.
Okay.
So
The lightsaber?
what lightsaber?
I don't know.
Talking about the Force ghosts. So like how Obi-Wan is taken out. right? His body disappears,
Oh, like
but
the
the
witches.
robes drop. The witches, they get stabbed, they get killed, and what happens? The robes just drop and their body disappears.
One of them
One
didn't though.
one goes into a dove.
Yeah, and I didn't understand
Oh,
that.
the one you talking about, the one on the ceiling?
No, well, yeah, no, she turned into dust too, like into her robes. But the
Hmm.
dove one is the one I was getting called out, and I didn't
Right.
understand that.
Well, maybe it's in part two or three in the movies.
Mm.
Maybe she's into the, I don't know, maybe she's in one of the sequels. But yes, you were saying
I always liked the idea, like how Kroll had that the throwing weapon, and I thought it
the
was really cool.
boomerang.
Like the one that will snap out is basically a boomerang, and he got it from his father. They made an emphasis about the sword, which made no sense because the father never mentioned anything about the sword until the king, until like the monologue after he died,
Hmm.
and then he uses the they called it a kappa,
Hmm.
and he uses it once to kill a raider or
Yes.
unalive a raider, and then gives it to his newfound brother at the end.
Yes,
It
which made no
has
sense.
no real
No,
relevance.
no,
Like I thought it
it
was
made no sense.
maybe meant for the tribe or
Right.
whatever, and
Uh-huh.
nothing.
It would have made more sense if he gave him the sword.
Oh, and that was the other
It
thing.
might,
I like you never see him really train for fighting up until after his village gets
well,
ransacked, and he's training with a log.
no, no, but we get the training aspect because he was trained by his father, like him and his father would train. Kind of like how Wonder Woman had that training sequence with her aunt, Wonder Woman.
No, the only
But
sequence I saw was the one where he threw the when his father threw the thing and they met the bear.
well, yes, but before that, they were training with swords.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
And then while they're going on to a hunt, the father gives them like a modified version of a hoe,
Yeah.
and he drops, and then Dar drops too, like to defend himself. So there's like that kind of like Inspector Clouseau and Kato always training at any moment, to defend themselves and to react and stuff like that. So
Then
there
what
is
was the point
training.
of swinging the log?
Well, I guess because to strengthen his ability to handle that sword, maybe that sword was just, it was his father's sword, so he never had the opportunity to use it.
Mm. I mean, it
I
was a
don't
good
know.
looking sword.
It was a great looking sword. It was awesome. But I just find it funny how shiny and clean it was for a village of that nature.
Yes.
My favorite moment, I have to say, is when he has to face the head marauder right before the winged creatures come.
Okay, so around the same part as me, like
I
the
mean that character, I don't know his name
they don't
because the
give
one
his
with
name.
his mask and the
Hmm.
wings, great looking character. It reminded me of Willow in that aspect,
I
where
did have that thought.
where
Yes.
that character had that skull face right on the horse,
And you only
where
see the
this one,
eyes.
yes, and this one you just had the mask and with the wings on the and his weapon was really cool, and the fight scene was okay. And looking at it again, I was like, could have been better, especially when he's swinging his weapon about to strike, and Dar is like on that broken bridge, but he's like on the side. So, in a sense, like he cannot get hit, where he's placing his left shoulder against that wall on the bridge or the column, and the
Hmm.
guy is swinging it. And the thing is, like, he's swinging that axe, if you will, whatever it is, a three prong axe or three edge axe, that he can't hit Dar because it's going to hit that column.
Yeah.
If he was swinging the other way, I can understand, but he was just swinging it, and I was like, and Dar kept moving. It's like, dude, just stay on that side.
I remember watching that as a kid and thinking that scene was more imposing than it is now. Because I
Oh, of
remember
course.
like he lands on it and he pulls himself off with it still on his back. And I
Right.
remember as a kid, like, this guy's insane. Like, this guy's incredibly tough. And then Dar just
Mhm.
spins him into the flames.
Did he spin him?
Yeah, he grabbed, like, he dodged him next. After the guy stands up,
Uh-huh.
he dodged him next. Then he grabs him by the axe and, like, the helmet or shoulder, and then turns
Because he
him
did kick
around
him.
and then throws him into the flame.
Right. He did like a jump, double, not double side kick, but a jump, step in side kick to the head first.
Yeah, which
Once
was,
he gets up, and then
Dar needs to work on his kicks.
right. It was still cool. I was still entertained.
I actually thought John Amos as Seth had better choreography, oddly enough, with swinging that staff.
Oh yeah,
Except for the when he's
but
just trying to swing them all away.
his staff was like weird because his staff was not like perfectly straight. It had a
No,
bend to it.
yeah.
I was like, you need a better staff, bro.
He's like, I just found this log. It was good.
Dar gets revenge twice.
Yeah, he does.
He takes down Rip Torn's character Max,
Hmm.
who was like a half breed because he had his nose was like a bird, like the beak, and his head is like his eyebrows were up like kind of like Spock.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like that's why he reminded me like like a half breed, like a half man, half bird kind of thing. And I liked how they made Rip Torn's character Max because usually when they do someone who is of the same age, like they did this in Conan, when James Earl Jones' character meets Conan as a boy
Yeah.
and then meets him later as a man. James Earl Jones is the same age in the sense of how he looks, how he appears. Where here, Rip Torn's character,
Looks older.
he's young when they take the unborn child away, which is I find it funny because he's not unborn, he's born. But later on, when he meets him face to face, he's a lot older. His teeth are all nasty. He has the gray hair. His skin's all like aged,
Hmm.
leathery. So I mean, I like that detail. That makes sense, and they did it right here. My weakest moment, I'll have to say, unfortunately, Tanya Roberts.
I hate to put it this way. She was meant to be a pretty face.
Well, she's gorgeous. She was absolutely gorgeous. My God, every time I saw her, she was like, holy crap, gorgeous. And you can tell that they had to redo her voice.
Hmm.
Her voice sounded way off compared to everyone else. And they do that in a lot of films where they record it on location, what have you, and then they record the voice again in a closed setting to capture the voice better. But you can hear it's just totally like where has his voice one way and hers is like louder for some reason. Oh, talk
Yeah.
about louder. The music too. The music, just like in Conan and other films in the 80s, that the music just like so much louder than it needs to be.
Yeah. It's overpowering at times.
Yeah. What
And
about you? I'm sorry. Do you have a weak moment?
it's the small things that added up for me
Mm-hmm.
at the end where his now found brother, what was his name? Young Dar, not Young Dar,
Is that Tease?
tall prince who would be king. They're like, oh, he won't be able to use his left hand.
Yes, yes, yeah,
I was
yeah.
like,
I was like looking at that too. I was like, wait a minute, he got shot in the right shoulder.
yeah, and they show him strapped down to the right shoulder. So it was just the small things that added up. The movie could have been less than, it was an hour and 58 minutes. It could have been
It was
less
almost two.
time.
Yeah, it was 2 hours long.
Yeah, they could have easily trimmed down some of the parts. So it felt a little bit longer than it should have, just because of the. I know they wanted to get the scenery, they wanted to focus on the animals, which is the selling point of it. And then just the editing mistakes, which
Mm-hmm.
stood out way more because they were like that obvious.
I make a correction. My weakest moment, it was not her. I mean, that's a pretty strong accusation.
Hmm.
But okay, the guardsmen,
The
they
death
call it
guards or the monks?
whatever you want to call them. They're a reason why I have like a little heebie-jeebie against Hare Krishnas. Krishna, 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 Krishna. They have bald heads. You know
Okay.
what I'm talking about? So remember seeing them, I was like, oh, this is why I have a little like the uneasiness when I see Hare Krishnas because of what they did in this movie and what they represented. Not that Hare Krishna do that in real life, but I'm just saying when I was younger, that's how
You associated the two together?
I did. I did.
He's like, they're going to turn me into a death guard.
But talking about them,
They weren't good
when
fighters, neither.
no, they weren't. But that's what I'm about to say. When Dar is drinking water, right, and the guy says, "Look for him," and like right above him is one of them
Hmm.
with the ring, the eye ring, whatever,
Hmm.
sees him. He's drinking water, and like how perfectly it gets into his hand to see the marking. But then he's getting choked, Dar, and then the other guy comes in on a horse with a crossbow and says, "Kill him." The guy doesn't shoot him.
No, he doesn't. Matter of fact, did you
He
notice?
doesn't even shoot. He doesn't even shoot the tiger who's chasing him. It's just like, why won't you shoot the tiger as like self defense?
He's like, I got
He just
everybody
runs
had one
away,
arrow. Everybody
but
had one
still,
arrow.
yeah. Well, regardless, why not use it instead of running away and then not use it at all?
No, that brought up two funny things for me. Like the one part that everybody had one arrow because remember, like in another scene, Kodo, it was either Kodo or Podo. Yeah, I could never tell the two. Takes the arrow from the crossbow, and the guy grabs the crossbow and just tosses it back down because there's no arrow in it. I'm like, no one has a spare. Uh,
That's right. That's right. When they're saving the lion.
yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And then when
yeah.
that same scene you're talking about when he's like, kill him, and Dar's being choked out,
Uh-huh.
I was laughing to myself internally. I'm like, they just used the same pole for animal control.
Yes,
It's like poetic.
right.
They like he's a
And the lion's
stray.
coming down. The lion's coming down, and the guy on the horse doesn't see it. Like to tell his boy, "Yo, watch out!"
Yeah.
Like a big beast coming down a
Mm-hmm.
branch. I don't know how did he get up there in the first place. I don't know, but it was just coming
I mean, they
down.
are very good climbers, but
I understand that. But the thing is, to get up there, you have to go up the trunk to the branch. But he wasn't there before. He was on the ground with Dar surveying
true.
ahead of him.
Here was the other thing that I wondered during the movie: how come he couldn't talk to any other animals? Like, there's plenty of horses.
That's right.
He could
All
like
those horses,
his
all
village being
those
attacked,
horses.
literally everybody on horses, and they're being ran over by the horses. He could have been like, nah, fuck, whatever. Like,
You're absolutely right. Holy crap. I didn't even think about that. Absolutely right. He could have made them buck. He could have made them run the other way. He could have rise up and kick the riders off and then stomp on them.
it just dawned on me the reason why he can talk to animals was because he was born out of the cow. He's a
Well, yeah,
man born
that
from an animal, so he
yeah.
can speak to
What
all that.
other is there like another movie that a person can talk to other animals? I'm thinking besides Dr. Doolittle. Oh, that's what it was. Is Dr. Doolittle, Conan, Star Wars in the mix?
Wasn't there a DC character
Animal
called
Man.
was it Animal Man or Manimal?
Animal Man.
Animal Man. He's Animal Man.
So you have that, but there's another movie
He's
out there that
Aquaman.
talks to fish. Yes, okay, fine. Yeah, you have all that influence there. But I'm thinking there's another movie where there's a guy can talk, or with the two wolves.
Probably is a movie like that. I just can't think of it right
Yeah, I
now.
can't think of it either. For those listening, watching, please let us know what other movies besides the ones mentioned or characters that we mentioned that a person can talk to animals. We got Animal Man, we
Hmm.
got Aquaman from DC, and it's probably most likely from Marvel as well. But it never gets cold there on that planet.
They're in stellar weather. That's why everybody is in rags. No one has like the only the monks have the best clothes. Everybody else is
Because
like
what?
in just like
Not that, and the villagers.
yeah.
The guy that he rescues the son of, they're dressed head to toe and like robes and stuff like that. I was like, but he doesn't get cold at all.
That
Nothing.
in their world, the true test of strength is how little clothes you can wear.
Oh, you know what? It also reminded me of him anyway. He-Man.
Yeah, he does a couple He-Man poses.
Not just that, but his satchel and his sword, the strap, when
Mm-hmm.
he puts it on and is a cross, is just like how He-Man has his chest guard. It's a
Well,
cross
even like if you look at some of the old like
or X.
poster art that they would do, it's like him holding his sword above his hand, like
Did he
head.
have a headpiece in that poster?
No, it was like a star behind his head. But he does wear a headpiece all the time in the
Right.
movie.
No, right. It's like a tiara, if you will, in the sense of
For lack of a better term,
Conan.
it is
Yeah,
a
Conan
tiara.
had it and stuff like that. But are you sure? I mean, I thought he had like a big headpiece on the poster.
I'm looking at one of the old school posters now. Like it's like the
Oh, I'm looking
hawk
at it
or the
right now
eagle
too.
behind it, and it's like the glint of the eye of the hawk is making a
Yes,
star behind his head, and
yes.
that is
And
very
this
He-Man like.
right, and this one he has there's a ring. Oh, the ring of the eye.
Hmm.
I also found it was funny too when the witches when the witches are looking in the hut
Yes.
and how they're moving, like they're freaking grinding on it.
Oh yeah. No, they were the definition of a butterface. I've been waiting to use that joke. But seriously,
You're
when
right.
you
You're
first
right.
see them, you're like, "Ooh, okay, we got a little bit of eye candy," and then you turn around and you're like, "Oh no, what
Right.
happened?" And you could
That's
tell it
very
was like the
common.
very cheap prosthetic face too, because like you could see
Oh
like
yeah.
the plastic leaning over the eye kind of thing.
The lore of the three witches. I think we see that in 300.
Isn't that in like Hamlet too?
Hamlet, yes. Also in Shazam,
Mm-hmm.
the second one that the girls, the three sisters.
Like the three
Also in
oracles.
right. And who else you have? You have what's that other one? Sandman,
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah.
the power of three. But
Mm-hmm.
yes, here you're exactly right. Butterface, exactly right. Please don't turn around. Keep your head over there.
Well, even like when they were gonna sacrifice the baby, yeah,
It's
Dar
just one of them.
initially. The
Hmm.
and then his adoptive father attacks, and she shows up behind him. He looks up. He's like tracking her legs
Right, right.
to see her face.
Yes.
For whatever reason, my
Now,
mind
could
went
that?
to RoboCop when I first saw their faces because I was thinking of the guy who
Oh,
gets hit with the
the
toxic
acid.
waste. Yeah.
Yes. Now, do you think that was the same one, or it was her sister?
No, I couldn't tell.
Well, you can't tell, right? It's
Yeah.
like because you have one that did the spell, and then maybe this one was backing up or as backup,
Hmm.
uh, because the other ones they die the same way. When you take out the weapon, they just disappear.
Hmm.
Also, a funny thing too is when at the end where they're fighting, not the last fight, but the second to last fight when they kill Max. Oh, that seemed like a real reaction from Rip Torn.
Oh, when it starts
When
biting him on the neck.
yeah, the way he reacted, like get the fuck off me. It was like
Yeah,
holy
that
crap!
seemed
Ah,
genuine.
ah, ah.
Yes.
Like he really was like scared,
Hmm.
and maybe like it really bit him. Like I don't
It
know.
looked like it did bite him really.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like his reaction was genuine. But when Seth tells the villagers, let's fight our way to the top. I'm like, why? There is done. There's no one there anymore except for Max who does this final blow. But all the warriors and all the soldiers, they're done.
Hmm.
And I was like, you don't need to fight anymore. Is this worth the watch?
Sure, I'll give it a worth the watch.
I mean, for me, nostalgia, I was a fan of this growing up. I was a huge fan of this. And in my opinion, with all the nitpicks that I pretty much what it is, these are nitpicks because this is still entertaining. The bad guy is told or foretold of a prophecy that may happen. So he tries to destroy it before it can happen, but then actually creates it. What other movie did we talk about that had that?
Besides Star
We
Wars and like,
besides Star Wars, there was a thing that we talked about. Is like if the villain didn't do anything, the prophecy would have not happened.
oh, that's any movie with a prophecy kind of situation where it's like foretold that this
I
happen.
understand that, but I'm talking about us. We reviewed a movie that had similar.
Trece. That was one we talked about where it was prophesized, and we're like, and we argued about the fact that like, really, did he do anything? He said, I orchestrated everything to happen this way, and like, and we're like,
So the creator, the Golden Child.
we didn't review Golden Child, but we
I
talked about
know,
that.
but we talked about that.
And you're technically right about that one. Yeah, we probably just mentioned it, like referencing other films. We've done so many.
Willow.
Yes, Willow, 100%. We did talk about that with Willow because that was the one where it was like the prophecy of the child, and like and the queen,
Mm-hmm.
and she really, in essence, killed herself.
But so the thing is, like, yes, that story it is a retelling a lot of times,
Yeah.
which is a okay and how it's presented. I mean, again, this is a fantasy film. This is from another world where no one gets cold. That a guy can talk to animals because he was birthed through an animal. And oh yeah, so how is it? Is the unborn child, but is born
Technically, it was C-sectioned.
still born?
By their definition, he was not birthed from his natural mother. He was birthed from a cow. So he was, I don't know. They just
I'm just
said
saying.
the unborn child is the one that will do it. So maybe they're just saying the child that's in the womb is the one that's destined to defeat you. It's just a key of wording.
If Max did not, I'm saying Max, even though it's
They,
Maax.
they
So it's
say
probably
they would say it
Max.
like Mayax.
Max, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm saying Max, but it's Max. Yes, but I was like, if he just chilled, be alive. And the thing is, why keep the father? Because he killed them eventually.
Yeah, he blinded him just to. I mean, that's one of
He
those like
blinded him. He tortured
egotistical
him.
things like villains do, where they like, I'm the winner, so you will stay here to witness all that I do, even though you can't see it. I'm not wrong.
You're not.
It would have
And
been better if he was like one of the death
the more I'm
guards.
thinking about this, is like how bad is this really film is. I mean, if you break it down, this movie is bad.
It's fun bad with
Right.
like with some friends, a good drink, like you can
No,
have
yeah.
a good time watching
if you
this.
yes, if you have a get drunk or get high, you will have a blast with this. If you're gay, you will have a blast with this.
I mean, if you're straight too, like
Tanya Roberts is freaking gorgeous, and her body is amazing in this. Unfortunately, she passed away. I'm saying like you have pretty much for the whole time, Mark Singer half naked, more so than Conan ever was.
Yeah, that's true. Conan
Yeah,
even
John.
bundled up more.
Yes, if you're into bears, John Amos will fit that.
Although he was hairless, like
No, no, he doesn't have to, you don't have to. No, bear doesn't mean hairy.
it's like, I'm sorry. I thought he
It does
did.
not mean
I thought it
no.
did.
Bear is like overweight kind of thing. Kind of
Oh,
thing.
husky.
He
Okay,
wasn't.
okay.
He wasn't really overweight. He was more a husky then.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, Jesus Christ. And if you're into tweaks or if you're into young boys, there you go.
No, no.
No, I'm just saying you have the young Dar shirtless, and then you have the brother. He's pretty much skin, dude. When they're looking at when the hawk flies away and Seth and whoever the kid's name was, they look away. I was like, his ass cheek is sticking out. I was like, what the
It's a movie
hell?
for people who like thongs. I'm just saying.
This can be very tantalizing for multiple people.
Wow.
If you're into bodies and not in the face of women, here you go.
If you just like looking at animals and you don't want to go to the zoo, watch Beastmaster.
There you go. And if you're into incest,
Wow.
there you go.
Jesus.
This,
Who produced? Was this produced by Canon Films? Like, because I
no, it
remember
was weird. It was a different company, and it was like it was
because I
weird.
remember Canon Films was like really good for
Huge.
making like outrageous films like that.
When I saw, I was like, I don't recognize that company. I was
They
like,
probably not in production anymore.
nope.
Well, that sells it.
It was made for 8 million. How about that? And it grossed over 14 million. That's a success.
Isn't that like the definition of success if it does more than double its profit? Or
Right. Well, it didn't do double. Oh, Mark Singer was also from V. Do you remember that show, the miniseries V?
I do. I didn't watch V, but I do know of V. So
Yes, he did, and he did another one. He played a blind guy. It was based on a true story on a blind guy. But anyway, we're going around. We're going way too long now.
yes,
So on Rotten Tomatoes by the critics, oh, that's only 46%, and by the audience, which is 25,000, is 54%. Where do you see this at?
I'm gonna put it as 68. It's a good time.
68?
Yes, but I'm gonna explain. It is a good time. Just because I rate it low doesn't mean it's not a good time. But I do recognize it is not a great movie. So
No. But why 68? Why not 70 or 65?
I felt right in between.
But why?
It's like a C minus.
Well, I give it a 65 because of exactly what you're saying, in a sense of it's entertaining. You can have fun with it, but you cannot take it literal. You're going to say, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the stuff like the baby being marked after all these years, the scar grows with the guy. The scar is as big as him.
I just realized Rip Torn's character had braids, and
Yes.
the jewelry for his braids were at least two little skulls.
I was like, what baby was that killed? Oh my God, it was like a freaking fetus, which was a cool design. I think he was a great villain.
I thought the movie was done when he was done, and then apparently I was
Yes.
wrong.
I didn't think it was over with after Rip Torn passed away. I felt it could have been going on, and they finished it with the revenge of the Marauders. But I give it, what did I say? A 65? I think
Yeah.
I say a 65. I say 65 because it's not perfect. There's a lot of flaws here in the sense of dialogue and editing, but I love the animal connection. Poto and Poto were awesome.
Yeah.
Maox was a great villain. Seth, John Amos, a great arms and guard. Arms and guard? Guard and arms.
He seemed like a guard, like a guard.
He was like a man of he was like a man of arms that
Yeah.
from He-Man in that sense.
You know what else I just realized?
I mean,
Dar, Beastmaster, he'll go into Professor X mode when he wants to see from the eyes of the animals.
But he did it only sometimes.
There was
he
like
did
two
that
or
one-
three
that one
times
time-
at least where he's like this, or he'll go like this, and yeah,
Right. I thought he just did it once, maybe twice,
yeah,
because he would just like stare. But for me, yeah, Kodo, the ferrets were like stole the show from me.
absolutely.
They're stealing the keys in the dungeon, and they're running away from the berserker character, whatever that shit was called
Mhm.
again. They guide him into the
escape
to the
area.
warriors.
Yeah,
right,
and-
and it crashes kills the guys.
he's like, "You guys are a little late."
Oh, but wait a minute. Now, here's another faux pas, and we're going way too long on what we should be going on.
Absolutely.
But Kiri says, this is the only way out. And he slams the skull into for they can't escape. Like if they
The boulder.
the boulder, right?
The
He
boulder
cuts it off.
says.
But well, that's from Last Airbender, right?
Yes, but
Avatar.
it just felt right. The boulder
Yeah.
says there's no way out.
And he cuts off the thing for the drainage comes out, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another faux pas for me. That the kid is slowly opening to lift the boulder is like, and the boulder goes, rip.
Yeah, it has
It
a
doesn't
pulley
match,
system.
but it doesn't match.
Yeah, yeah.
The way he's pulling so slow is like, and then when Dar is doing it, he's trying to close it, but he's pulling the same direction as the kid opened it.
I figured Dart broke it.
But how? But I'm saying he's going the
You
wrong
break
direction.
hinge.
But he's going the wrong direction. He's going
Eh.
the same direction as the kid opened it instead of going backwards.
Yeah, because Dart doesn't know lefty loosey, righty
Or-
tighty.
Right, exactly. But anyway,
You mean how did she get back in there?
correct. If she's saying that is like this is the only way out, but it's not.
She's like, I just hid in the corner the entire time. She's
And there's a
also a
hawk.
warrior, but it only does one thing for fighting. Like,
Right, and the thing is like they go in there, and Dara recognizes this. She goes somewhere. She's dressed in one way. Then she goes somewhere to dress pretty much the same, but only with a belt.
yeah, and he's like, where'd she get those clothes? I'm like, what clothes? I missed it. I was like, she
No, I
just
noticed that she had
disappeared
the-
and came back.
Right, but she had like a belt with a knife, a dagger.
That's all she
So
went
it wasn't
for.
really, yeah, that's all it was. But it was
Like-
still fun. It was still fun. I had a good time. Just saying, like, it doesn't make sense. Like, don't take it literally.
Yeah.
Just watch it for what it is. It's a fantasy film.
It's a good time to pick at.
Yes. All right, guys. That is our throwback review of the Beastmaster. Have you seen it? What was your favorite moment? Let us know in the description below. And as always, if you have a movie or show you'd like us to review, let us know in the comments below. Until next time, we'll be the next time. I'm Angel.
I'm Adan.
Love you, bro.
Love you too.